Student loan debt in the United States now exceeds $1 trillion. That's right, 1 trillion with a T. That kind of money has become an enormous burden on the economy. The average per student loan is $28,000. $28,000 could buy a very nice automobile free and clear. It could represent a down payment on a nice home. Those with student loans frequently resent the fact that they have to make the payments on them, but the payments on the student loans must be given priority. There are a lot of reasons for this, but the most important one of all is that when things get really bad, if they ever do, you cannot really bankrupt out of a student loan except in the most extreme circumstances. Let's examine the components of student loans. Now, the $28,000 average is, of course, just that, an average. That figure encompasses everything from hairdressing school, a tractor-trailer driving school, or a basic office skills school, right up to people that borrow money for college and advanced degrees in medical school. People that may owe hundreds of thousands of dollars, or people that may owe $5,000. But they all have one thing in common. Everyone that borrows money for school is convinced that they will be making much more money because of the school, and that the student loan will be an investment that was worth it. And in most cases it is. But it doesn't always work out in such a smooth fashion that automatically we're making enough money to pay the student loan when we finish the educational process that we took the loan out for in the first place. Now, as you probably know, bankruptcy, for all intents and purposes, is out of the question. It isn't permitted. Only in the most extreme circumstances in which you can demonstrate to a court that there is no hope of you ever getting into a better set of circumstances will a court consider it bankruptcy. And just try finding a lawyer that will advocate for that. It's granted so rarely that for all intents and purposes, we might as well say it's off the table. Now, what does that mean? As a practical matter, it means that the student loan payments should be made before you make any other payments. You simply are never going to be able to get rid of it if worse comes to worse. Now, the government has bill collecting weapons that private people don't have, that credit card companies don't have. The government can seize a tax refund without any court order. It can attach your property, your real estate, your car, your office furniture, anything that you have without a court order. And it can levy on your pay. People that skip jobs often or are self-employed maybe have a little advantage in this situation, but there's no one else but the government that can levy on your pay without getting a court order first. So you're stuck with it. You might as well keep that in mind, and you might as well remember that it's the bill that must be paid, because no matter what happens, it's still going to be with you when you're old and gray if you don't take care of it. Now, lenders have to offer income-based repayment. Doesn't mean you're not going to be paying interest and penalties, however, so you're not really getting away with anything. But if you need to do that, you might as well look into that. There are such things as deferment or forbearance if you re-enroll in school, if you get out of work, if you have some kind of a medical emergency. But again, that does not stop the interest, nor does it stop the penalties. So keep that in mind, that the student loan must be a priority. There are certain programs in which the student loan can be forgiven. I'm not sure that this is really practical for most people, but I think that we all should know about them. So let me point out the major ones that are available. There's certain forgiveness for certain kinds of public service you might look into with your lender. There's the AmeriCorps, the Peace Corps, Teach for America. These, of course, are programs where you have to really dedicate yourself to the program. And in most cases, they don't forgive the whole loan, but a certain percentage of it if you spend time with them. There are health care services in poor parts of the country that will forgive all or part of student loans. The military option, particularly if you're willing to go into dangerous territory and perform dangerous services, you can get it all forgiven. If that's for you, then you might want to look into that. Health research for those with advanced degrees, they can take care of a good part of their loan, or even most of it, or all of it, but that's only for the very few that have advanced degrees that are useful in health research. And then this one is one that I find kind of amusing. There's a move here kind of a deferment. Actually, in Niagara Falls, they have that, and there's 50 counties in Kansas that have that. These are actually places that need people so bad that they're willing to, if you move there, they're willing to forgive a percentage of your student loan for every year you stay. So again, I don't think that these things are practical for most people, but I think they're worth pointing out that you know they exist. The good news is the student loan operates as an installment loan. The installment loan is one of the 5 important areas of your credit scoring system that you must be able to demonstrate that you can handle responsibly in order to get a high score. So that if you are able to keep up with your student loan, you're showing, demonstrating to the credit people that your responsibility for an installment loan can be trusted. And if you should, worst come to worst, fall behind, there's a program where you can rehab your tarnished credit score by making 9 payments on time. You have to discuss that with your lender, that 9 payments is strictly enforced, but it can result in getting all the bad history deleted. So that's a kind of a backup plan for everyone concerned. With all these things said, the fact of the matter is that the student loan, whether it's small, whether it's big, as far as your portfolio of bills that must be paid, it's got to be on the top. You're not going to get away with it. You might as well just face up to the fact that it has to be paid. I know anyone would rather have that new car free and clear. Anyone would rather have this money to put towards a new house, but it doesn't operate that way. You've got the education. Nobody can repossess the education, but you can tarnish your entire personal credit history for a long time by not being responsible towards your student loans.